transforming its inhabitants. Spores were released into the confined, dusty air of the mines. As the amber was disturbed and the fossilized parasites crumbled, these microscopic spores, inhaled deeply into the lungs of the unsuspecting villagers, began a terrifying internal biological process. Over time, as the spores incubated within their bodies, they matured into full-grown, living plagas, actively seeking to integrate with the host's central nervous systems. This was the silent, insidious genesis of the outbreak that would soon consume the entire region, transforming its inhabitants into the monstrous ganados. With the region now effectively his personal laboratory, Osmond Sadler wasted no time in capitalizing on this accidental infection. He began to systematically study the plagas and their effects on the human body, transforming the infected villagers into his unwitting test subjects. To accelerate his research and refine the parasitic strains, Sadler hired a team of dedicated, often morally compromised researchers. Among them was Luis Serra, a brilliant native of the Spanish village who would later attempt to atone for his involvement by aiding Leon S. Kennedy. These scientists were tasked with unraveling the complex biology of the plaga, understanding its life cycle, its methods of control, and, most critically, how to manipulate its genetic structure. The primary goal of this early experimental phase was to develop differentiated and controllable plaga strains. Sadler successfully refined the parasite, creating the powerful dominant plaga strain, which he assimilated into himself. This dominant strain granted him absolute telepathic control over those infected with the lesser subordinate plagas. He also implanted dominant plagas into his key lieutenants, Ramon Salazar, the village chief Bitores Mendez, and the mercenary Jack Krauser, ensuring their unwavering loyalty and granting them a share of the hive mind's power. The vast majority of the infected villagers, however, received the subordinate plaga, transforming them into the subservient, mind-controlled ganados, literally cattle in the cult's terrifying terminology. The excavation and early experiments of Las Plagas were therefore not just acts of scientific discovery. They were the intentional, systematic process of biological weaponization. Sadler's ruthless exploitation of the parasite's ancient power and his methodical refinement of its strains created a terrifying, self-propagating army, a unified hive mind under his absolute control. The quiet Spanish Valley became the breeding ground for a new era of biological warfare, where the lines between ancient religious dogma and cutting-edge, parasitic manipulation blurred into a single, horrifying reality. Part 6. The Ganado Transformation Process. The true horror of Osmond Sadler's parasitic regime was not merely the revival of an ancient cult, but the systematic, biological transformation of an entire rural population into the terrifying, mind-controlled soldiers known as the Ganados. This process, distinct from the viral infections seen in other Resident Evil games, created a unique type of bioorganic weapon that was both deceptively intelligent and utterly subservient to the will of the Los Illuminados leader. Understanding the mechanics of the Ganado transformation is crucial to grasping the insidious power of Las Plagas.
Wait, this was that was like the main character, one of the main character for
understanding the mechanics of the Ganado transformation
what was that supposed to do?
Grasping the insidious power of Las Plagas and the profound threat they pose
You're not
to
slick,
Leon S.
Ramon.
Kennedy. The villagers of Valdalobos, the isolated region surrounding Salazar's castle, were primarily transformed into the Ganados through the most insidious and inescapable means: the inhalation of airborne plaga spores. As detailed in the excavation phase, The disturbance of the ancient amber deposits in the mines released microscopic spores into the air. These spores, unknowingly breathed in by the local workers and subsequently dispersed throughout the village via wind and direct contact, became the primary vector of infection. Once inside the human body, these spores began a slow, insidious incubation period, gradually maturing into a fully developed adult parasite within
This
the
has to be
host's
during the early
torso.
phases, right?
Unlike the immediate, destructive cellular necrosis of the tvorshis that creates shambling zombies, the plaga works by integrating with the host's nervous system. This integration grants the infected individuals several horrific new capabilities. Firstly, the ganados exhibit significantly enhanced strength and durability, capable of shrugging off injuries that would incapacitate an uninfected human. They can absorb multiple gunshots, withstand blunt force trauma, and continue their relentless pursuit, making them far more resilient than conventional human enemies. Secondly, and most critically, the parasite causes an almost complete loss of free will, connecting the host's mind to the powerful hive mind controlled by Osmond Sadler's dominant plaga. This means that every ganado acts as an extension of Sadler's will, their every action dictated by their lord. Despite this loss of free will, the ganados retain a deceptive, unsettling appearance of intelligence and basic motor functions. They are not mindless creatures. They are capable of using a variety of tools and weapons, ranging from pitchforks and axes to chainsaws and dynamite.
Oh, fucking pitchforks.
They can also engage in rudimentary communication, shouting commands or warnings to each other in Spanish. This combination of retained function and parasitic control makes them incredibly dangerous. They are strategically coordinated by Sadler, capable of setting ambushes, flanking maneuvers, and overwhelming an opponent through sheer numbers and organized aggression. This superficial intelligence, however, masks the horrifying truth that they are nothing more than biological puppets, their humanity utterly subsumed by the parasite. The most visceral and terrifying manifestation of the plaga's control occurs when a ganado host sustains enough damage. Instead of simply dying, the parasite actively defends itself and its hive mind. The plaga emerges violently from the host's neck area, typically bursting through the skin as a monstrous, chitinous appendage. These emerging plagas can take various forms, such as the blade, like Cephalo, the scorpion, like Magini, a later evolution of the parasite,
Bro, that
or other
scorpion is
grotesque
so
mutations.
fucking annoying to play
This emergence
with. Again, sorry.
transforms the already formidable
Freaking
ganado
enemy.
into an even more lethal threat, capable of extended reach, powerful strikes, and a more direct, aggressive defense. This secondary mutation is a physical manifestation of the parasite's direct control, demonstrating its ability to rapidly adapt and protect its collective. The ganado transformation process was therefore the fundamental engine of Los Iluminados' power. It created a vast, resilient, and utterly loyal army that could withstand conventional attacks and overwhelm any resistance through sheer numbers and coordinated terror. The parasitic nature of their control, their deceptive intelligence, and their grotesque secondary mutations made them a wholly unique and terrifying threat, forcing Leon S. Kennedy to adapt his combat strategies against an enemy unlike any bioorganic weapon he had ever encountered before. Part 7. Leon Kennedy and the Presidential Assignment. 6 years after his harrowing escape from the Raccoon City disaster in September 1998, Leon S. Kennedy was no longer the fresh-faced rookie police officer. The traumatic events of that apocalyptic night had...
Wait, I know this date. September 30th, 1998? Yes, it has been 1998, right? September 30th. 31st? Wait. No, 30th? Oh my god, how did I not know this line? 30th, yeah, September 30th, 1998. The cop inside me died that night.
Irrevocably shaped him, forging him into an elite, highly skilled, and uniquely experienced operative for the United States government. This transformation from a naive law enforcer to a hardened federal agent made him the ideal, indeed the only, choice for a mission of immense sensitivity and global consequence. The rescue of the president's kidnapped daughter, Ashley Graham, from a remote, hostile, and biologically corrupted region of Spain. Following the Raccoon City incident, Leon was immediately recruited by the US government. His first-hand experience with the virus, and the machinations of the Umbrella Corporation made him an invaluable asset. He underwent intensive, specialized training in combat, espionage, and BOW countermeasures, rapidly ascending through the ranks to become a special agent under the direct command of the president. His expertise was not just theoretical. He had survived the very worst of biological warfare, giving him a unique, practical understanding of bioorganic threats that no amount of training could replicate. This made him an unparalleled resource for situations that went beyond conventional military or intelligence operations. It was precisely due to his unique and intimate experience dealing with bioorganic weapons and viral outbreaks that Leon was chosen for this particularly sensitive off-the-books assignment. The abduction of the president's daughter
Right, what's the
was
reasoning
not
for this
a
part?
typical kidnapping. The intelligence suggested a highly organized, ideologically driven group
I
with
thought the
access
reason
to
why Leon
unconventional
was assigned because everyone was under investigation because they were suspicious of who helped with the kidnapping of the president's daughter. But what was this person's reasoning?
unique, practical understanding of bioorganic threats that no amount of training could replicate. This made him an unparalleled resource for situations that
I
went
mean, that's
beyond conventional
true as well.
military or intelligence operations. It was precisely due to his unique and intimate experience dealing with bioorganic weapons and viral outbreaks that Leon was chosen for this particularly sensitive off-the-books assignment. The abduction of the president's daughter was not a typical kidnapping. The intelligence suggested a highly organized, ideologically driven group with access to unconventional methods. A military assault risked escalating the situation and harming Ashley, while a conventional intelligence operation lacked the necessary expertise to handle a potential biological threat. Leon's specialized background made him the ideal, highly specialized operative, a discreet, capable, and lethal asset who could operate effectively in hostile environments without triggering an international incident. His assignment was clear, though veiled in extreme secrecy: the rescue of the president's kidnapped daughter, Ashley Graham, who was believed to be held captive in a remote, rural area of Spain. The mission was explicitly off the books, meaning it would not involve official military deployment or public acknowledgement, protecting the president from political fallout and preventing the kidnappers from leveraging their captive on a global stage. Leon was dispatched as a lone wolf, relying on his training, his instincts, and his unique understanding of unconventional threats to achieve his objective. Critically, Leon's history made him uniquely qualified to face the new, non-viral, parasitic threat of the Las Plagas. While his past experience was primarily with viruses, his training as a BOW expert extended to all forms of bioorganic weapons. The intelligence gathered about the group holding Ashley, the Los Iluminados, hinted at biological manipulation that was distinct from the familiar viral contagions. Leon possessed the analytical skills to adapt to an entirely new type of infection, recognizing the patterns of biological control and mutation, even if the specific mechanism, the parasite, was unfamiliar. His experience with mind-altering viruses, grotesque mutations, and the sheer ruthlessness of bioweapons organizations prepared him for the insidious, hive mind control exerted by Las Plagas. He was a veteran of the biological wars, and the president trusted him with the most important mission of his presidency, sending him into the heart of an ancient, reawakened terror. Part 8. Ashley Graham's Kidnapping and the Plan for Global Domination. The desperate mission undertaken by Leon S. Kennedy, the rescue of Ashley Graham, was not the result of a random act of criminality, but the highly calculated, essential centerpiece of Osmond Sadler's plan for world domination. The kidnapping
I'll leave it here, and I'll be back in maybe a couple hours, 4 or 5 maybe, might be more. Let's see, but we'll end it here. Be back in